こんにちは。aps アカデミー講師の上村紅巴です。毎日音読をすることで英語は上達していますでしょうか？では今日の文章を読んでいきましょう。Darwin's first clues. The journey of young Charles Darwin aboard His Majesty's ship Beagle. During the years 1831 and 36 is one of the best-known episodes in the history of science. As the legend goes, Darwin sailed as ship's naturalist on the Beagle, visited the Galapagos Islands in the eastern Pacific Ocean, and saw giant tortoises and finches. The finches, many species of them, were distinguishable by differently shaped beaks, suggesting adaptations to particular diets. The tortoises, island by island, carried differently shaped shells. These clues from the Galapagos led Darwin to conclude that the Earth's living diversity has become about a process of evolution as it's now known, and that natural selection of the best adapted organism is the mechanism. He wrote a book called The Origin of Species and persuaded everyone except the Anglican Church that it was true. This cartoon-like account of the Beagle voyage and its consequences contain a fair bit of truth, but it also confuses, distorts, and omits much. For instance, the finches didn't show as much diversity as the island's mockingbirds. Darwin couldn't make sense of them until a bird expert back in England helped, and the HMS Beagle only made a brief stopover on the Galapagos Islands near the end of an expedition that was mostly concerned with surveying the South America coastline. Darwin hadn't signed on to the Beagle as its official naturalist. He was a 22-year-old Cambridge University graduate planning a career as a country clergyman, invited on the voyage as a dining companion for the captain, a moody young aristocrat named Robert Fitzroy. But Darwin took the role of a naturalist and think of himself that way. As time went on, his theory of evolution, however, developed slowly, secretively, and the origin of species didn't appear until 1859. Many scientists, along with some Victorian clergymen, resisted its evidence that arguments for decades afterwards. The reality of evolution became widely accepted during Darwin's lifetime, but his particular theory that natural selection was a prime cause of evolution didn't triumph until about 1940, after it had been successfully integrated with genetics. Apart from those points, there was another very interesting point missed by the simplified version of his story. Darwin's first real clue towards evolution did not come in the Galapagos, but 3 years earlier on a windy beach on the north coast of Argentina. It didn't come in the form of a bird's beak. It wasn't even a living creature. It was a collection of fossils. どうだったでしょうか？毎日音読を続けていってください。ではまた次回をお楽しみに。